One of the oldest tracks in stock car racing. This place feels like a knife fight in a phone booth, like your wallet that just got left in the dryer. If you say you're having fun at the end of this race, you probably weren't driving hard enough. It's the Vsrl ARCA Series from Martinsville in Virginia. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook, here tonight, and you are watching V-Speed as always. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss a moment of the action. We bring you racing that you can't see anywhere else. Let's have a chat about this track, the Martinsville Speedway. Just over half a mile. The straightaways are asphalt. The corners are concrete because when they brought those big heavy cars in the 60s and 70s, they had to repave the racetrack every year. They dug it up. These corners are so tight with so much load that concrete made a better choice. One of the more unique racetracks in all the stock car racing, the two different compounds that you have to race on, and how you have to wrap that curb but don't touch it. You will definitely end up ruining somebody's day, and it's probably going to be your own if you get into those red and white curves that we're going to see here in just a few minutes. 11 degrees in the corners, slightly more than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a little bit more than the straightaways at Dover. The front stretch and back stretch are exactly flat. It's basically two drag strips connected by tight U-turns. Fun racetrack if you're leading and if you're winning. And other than that, it is an awful place to drive. It's so frustrating, and that's a reason why this place has always been sponsored by painkillers, because, oh man, you're going to need them after this. Look at the points. The drivers, the gladiators, are going to put on a show for us tonight. Sean Langton, Richard Holland have declined the invitation to race here tonight. Nicholas Pressey will be the lone winner in the field this evening. Dakota Floyd, Justin Ritchie, Garrett Hemlinger, John Sanu, and Kyle Stewart will try and extend their lead over the cut line, who is Benjamin Richards, and Teresa Spiker lies in wait trying to gain some points here tonight at this half-mile paperclip in Virginia. Where are we on the schedule? We got one race to go before we go to Talladega and wrap up the regular season. Then we're into Michigan, Dover, the Milwaukee Mile, which is not unlike this racetrack, and Chicagoland to wrap up the season and crown your inaugural Vsrl ARCA Series champion. Without further ado, let's get down to the grid to meet some of these drivers. Your pole sitter tonight, none other than league admin Garrett Hemlinger, who got him by 1/1000th of a second. That's how close it was between first and second here tonight. As soon as the standings flip over from the warm-up, the drivers were just in. We will have the grid. Here we go. Garrett Hemlinger, Dakota Floyd going to start 1-2 tonight. You can see the gap. A 19.954 to a 19.955 is about as close as you can get at any racetrack, especially here at Martinsville. Only 3 drivers broke into that 19-second bracket, John Sanu being the third one. He will start in third. Kyle Stewart, first one out of the 19-second bracket. He will start in the 4th spot. 5th position tonight, Nicholas Pressey in the 94. Greg Hiller will start in 6th. 7th spot, Matthew Radford in the 97. Justin Ritchie showed some pace in practice. He will start in 8th. 9th position tonight, Brent McKee in the 29. Just bought this racetrack, so watch out for that 29. Should be a show. I am sure of it. Benjamin Richards will start in 10th. 11th spot, Thad Miller in the Casey Kane throwback, number 13. Wade Palmer in the Richard Petty throwback, number 43, will start in 12th. 13th, David Collins in the 707. Brian Hemmings will start 14th in the 74. 15th, Teresa Spiker in the 70. Renee Haas starts 16th in the 07. And rounding out your grid tonight, Edward Fiedler in the 66 and Casey Ellis in the 35. Those drivers do not take a time. They will make up row number 9. And that's a look at your starting grid as we get the look high above this big conveyor belt of a racetrack. Nothing quite like it. Looks like Nicholas Pressey having issues getting that car to fire. He will lose a whole bunch of track positions. He's still, now he's rolling. There we go. He was supposed to start 5th. Currently half a lap behind the leaders. not going green this time anyway. Extra pace lap. Make sure everyone gets all settled. Let's chat about the race analysis while we are on this final pace lap. 140 laps here tonight. Pit road speed 35 miles an hour. Very easy to speed. Very easy to miss the box. You pit on the curve here. Very difficult to get a handle of it. 3 tire sets available. Might not need them tonight. 2 green-white checkers. You can go about 110 to 115 laps on fuel. This is a one-stop race. iRacing fixed setup as always, and if things get a little bit crazy, you always have a fast repair in the bank, just in case. Elmlinger's going to lead the field into turn 3. Green flag in hand. And we're racing in Martinsville. Lap 1 in the books already. Elmlinger going to lead that one. I just checked my notes and remembered that the 94 of Nicholas Pressey and the 29 of Brent McKee had EOLs from last week. That is the reason why they started the back tonight. Elmlinger to lead lap number 2 as well. Dakota Floyd hanging right behind him. Sanu ended up losing a spot on the initial start to Kyle Stewart, who was right in front of him. Side by side back here for the 5th position. Bradford and Richie. Richie already gaining 2 positions. Trying to make it 3. He may just into turn number 1. Yes, he will outbreak the 97. Ricky Bobby up 1 more spot. Up to the 5th position. All 5s for driver 55. Matthew Radford currently in the 6th spot. Greg Miller down 1 to 7th. Thad Miller has gained a handful. We got a wreck behind us. I just heard contact. No harm, no foul there, but I do see 2 cars side by side. That's Spiker and Collins. Collins already with that heavy right rear damage. Oh, massive wall contact there. He found it. 5 laps in here to Martinsville. A little help from behind by Hennings too. Yeah, that 707's not having a good time here. I can tell you that right now. Nauseating look there from right on top of the 707. Hennings having an issue. He got the outside wall. We'll lose 3 spots at least, but let's watch as the 94 navigates through traffic. Sets up McKee in the 29, not able to get the fender there to get the position. The tricky thing about this racetrack is it's all about rolling the center of the corner. That's where you get all your speed from. It's not necessarily how well you get into the corner, how well you get off the corner. It's all about that center of the corner. That's where you're going to gain your time. That's where you're going to set your passes. McKee locks him up underneath Wade Palmer. Guess he's going to fall back a few as Casey Ellis fills that hole. In the 35, he's going to go right around the 94 who's in the outside wall. Oh my goodness. Not a great start today for Nicholas Pressey. Again, we are only 10 laps into 140. Lots of time left as Hennings marches back forward. Fighting with the 29. Outside line, definitely not the preferred one at this racetrack. Is off of turn number 2. That red 74 is going to get that spot back. Go to work now on Wade Palmer in that familiar 43 machine. But here comes the 29. Goodness gracious, we're not done racing yet, folks. Just about a moment there. Pressing now to the inside. And that is just what racing in Martinsville is like. You make a move, you get position, you get shuffled out of line, now you're freight trained. Most races, I envy the drivers out on the racetrack. This is definitely not one of those times. Last week at Charlotte, absolutely. This week in Martinsville, glad I'm up here in the booth. 66 is going to go a lap down, be the first one. We go a lap down today. Helmlinger's opened it up to about a car length over Dakota Floyd, who has gained quickly in the last lap or so. Top 5 has gapped 6th place Matthew Radford by 1.3. And it's another 1.3 back to Greg Pillar, and then 2.2 back to Thad Miller, who's running all by his lonesome. Another 2 seconds back to Teresa Spiker. Helmlinger's able to open it back up. Oh, Wade Palmer's in the outside wall. And Pressey finally got around the 74 as well. Moved Pressey to the 11th position. Now he's going to chase down David Collins. He's trying to make a pass on Teresa Spiker. Oh, into the curve. Around goes the 707. Oh, no. And then tries to, oh, big contact. Oh, man. Oh, he panicked. The 707 panicked, and he's not making it. No, stop rolling. Goodness gracious. All right, well, let's go back and relook at that one. Replay coming at you. We saw him just dive to the inside here, get on the curb a little bit. It spins him around, little contact there, but he keeps trying to roll it, and it just gets him in more trouble. If he was able to just lock it down and stay there, I don't think he has any more contact than that, and then in front of the leaders here. Just about a moment. Not the first time Garrett Helmlinger has seen that with a lap car. I think back to Vsrl at the Daytona Road Course. He was running 3rd and got walloped by somebody. Let's have a look here. Different camera angle. From the 707 here. Might be a lap too soon. Yeah, I think it's the next lap after this. A little overzealous with the replay button. Apologies, everyone. Chasing down Teresa Spiker. It's into the corner pretty good. But I don't think he realized how much speed he had. De-wedged the car, spun it out, and then right there, if he doesn't throttle up, it's probably okay, but more damage was caused. Back to the live shot. Collins on pit road. Helmlinger and the rest of the field stay on the racetrack, only 20 laps into this race. You could theoretically hit in about 5 laps and make it to the end. It'd be close, but it's possible. I am a little surprised that nobody puts on a fresh set of Goodyears and fills up with fuel and just sees if the cautions carry them to the end. But for now, everyone going to stay out, keep their track position, except for David Collins, obviously, with the damage to repair. But he is now out of the pit box. Still rolling. Although that 707 has 3 out of the 4 corners bent in some way, shape, or form. That is a Martinsville race car if I've ever seen one. This place will chew up race cars more than anywhere else, other than maybe a Daytona or Talladega. It is really quite something here at this paperclip. Helmlinger, Floyd, Stewart, Sanu, and Ritchie. Familiar 5 up in the top 5. We will have a new short track winner for the first time this season. Sean Langton did not make the trip to Virginia. Pace car should pull in momentarily. There it goes. Field back in the hands of the 88. Out of turn number 4. Slow roll in the restart zone. Big launch. Garrett Helmlinger going to lead him into turn number 1 easily. Battle is for 3rd. Sanu's going to lose another one. Caught on the outside line for a 2nd restart in a row. Justin Ritchie. Oh, Kyle Stewart just got turned. Stewart's around. Oh my goodness, he saved that car though. How did he do that? More drivers unfortunately involved. We need to go repack. We gotta unpack this one. Goodness. So let's start off with the Kyle Stewart situation here. From the blimp, let's go back and watch it. So here we go into the corner. Sanu got him a little bit in the back end. Nothing intentional by any stretch. Stewart somehow saved that car. Phenomenal driving by driver 41. Let's ride on board with him. Just see what that was like from the initial start. And then we'll go back and have a look at the incident behind him with Brian Hennings. Just watch the yellow gloves. Watch his hands here. Just wheeling that thing. Great job, Kyle. And now back to Hennings. Already spun around. What caused this? So red 74, middle of your screen. I think Pressey was also involved, if I'm not mistaken. Alongside Thad Miller. By this point, they're probably seeing that spinning car in front of them. Oh, you got some help from Thad Miller. 4 cars trying to go into one, just simply did not work. Now back here live. Now 3 drivers have hit pit lane. Edward Fiedler, Wade Palmer join David Collins as the only 3 to hit pit road. Your top 15 have yet to find the pit lane today. 25 laps in, second caution, what we're working right now, no lead changes so far. Something we've become quite accustomed to as we've had 3 wire-to-wire races this season. One of them by Sean Langton at New Smyrna, where he led every lap from second. One at Lime Rock from that same driver, Sean Langton, where he led every lap from the pole, and then one. Actually, don't recall what the other one was. I know that it was Nicholas Pressey, but I can't remember where it was. Goodness gracious. Single file restarts in order here. All drivers rolling the single file line. There goes the 88. Sanu took ownership for that caution. He will fall back to the 16th position on the. Oh, we got Rex already. 29's around, and they're all wadded up. Oh, 56 got some help. Caution is now out. Saw with the 29, got some help from behind. Let's go back and watch this one again. Some help from Benjamin Richards, it looks like. Yeah, definitely just 2 cars going for the same spot, and then can't quite get it saved. Hennings did not give him much of a break there, neither did Wade Palmer. Right on board with the 74 here. Go back on the replay from the initial start. They missed a shift big time. Yeah, third time was the charm there. A lot of damaged race cars early in the race here at Martinsville. Bring the schedule up on your screen. Iowa. It was Iowa where Nicholas Pressey led every lap and won the race. It was bugging me. Technically, that would mean that Nicholas Pressey is the only short track winner in the field here tonight, as Iowa is a little under a mile, called a short track. The list of cars who've hit pit road has grown. John Sanu has been on the pit lane, so has Benjamin Richards, Renee Hasp, adding to David Collins, Wade Palmer, Edward Fiedler, Benjamin Richards, also on the pit road for that damage on the 56. So now top 12 not on the pit lane. I don't think there's a concern for fuel by any stretch. Still should have another about 80 laps in the tank or so, possibly a little bit more with all these cautions. But everyone who's pit in the last couple laps should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Bring up our race analysis again. A little short, 110 to 115 on fuel is what I was told pre-race. So they'd still be a little short here. Pace lights out again. A pace car off the racetrack. Field in the hand of the 88. See what kind of restart he has this time. Slow roll into the box. Great acceleration once again. Make it 2 car lengths. Make it 3 car lengths into turn number 1. Everybody makes it through clean that time. Little wall contact with 707, no big deal. Nothing's changed out front. Helblinger going to lead another one. Make it 31 he's led so far. 66 going to pull out of line. Let the field go by. Ritchie just got around Stewart, who went for a big slide a couple cautions ago. And that 97 peeking into the frame. Wade Palmer having an issue. He has left the session. More internet issues for driver 43, unfortunately. Someday he will run a full race with us. Someday. That day is not today. Brent McKee trying to work around the 74 who found the outside wall just a little bit. John Sanu has to work his way from the back after the Kyle Stewart caution. Finds himself currently in the 12th spot, working his way through the field quite quickly. First driver who's hit pit road still on the same tires. Teresa Spiker is going to lose a spot to Nicholas Pressey. That is for the 7th position. Every other car on the racetrack fairly spread out for the first time tonight. But Floyd is all over the back bumper. Garrett Helmlinger. They're chasing down 66. That's what it looks like off the rear bumper as he just goes way to the high line. Going to give him all the space. Classy move for 66. Drops in behind the top 5, right in front of the 97. Working up towards lap number 40 in this race. Still have a very hungry Nicholas Pressey, who is trying to work his way back from that speeding penalty. EOL, whatever it was last week. Up to 7th, trying to get back to the 6th position. He would have technically started in 5th if everything went his way. We get to the inside of the 32. Can he make his stick? Looks like he will. Clear off the corner? Yes. Give the 6th position to Nicholas Pressey. Brenton McKee in the middle of a sandwich here. Got John Sanu behind him. Casey Ellis in front of him. This group bookended by Teresa Spiker and Brian Hennings. It's about 6 cars deep. I don't know if Spiker's holding this entire group up, but she's definitely holding Thad Miller up. What can the 13 do to get around her? He clipped the curb a little bit and lost a bunch of time. Pulls back into the clutches of Casey Ellis, who tries to diamond the corner. Gets a great run. What a good run here from 36. He should clear. At least get alongside. Maybe he can muscle that out of the way here. Made a good turn 3. Too shallow of an entry. Caught that curve just a little bit. yet to be able to pass the 13. Got half a car length on him now. This is going to be it. Deep drive into turn number 3. Not going to happen. Thad works back on the high line. 13's going to catch the wall quite a bit. Oh, there goes the steering wheel out of the hands. Somebody got in the back of him. I think it was Hennings. No, it wasn't. Thad Miller just lost a bunch of spots. Been there, done that. Those ones are tough. 86 really sailed it down into turn number 3. Dakota Floyd making a move on your leader. Trying to be the first driver to make a lead change today. Peaks high, peaks low. Justin Ritchie all over the back bumper, and Kyle Stewart behind him. This quartet has gapped Matthew Radford by about 3 seconds. And look, don't look now, but here comes Nicholas Pressey. The 94 trying to get his spots back. Another good battle here. These guys are still fighting for it. Casey Ellis into the outside wall. He is going to lose a spot to Brian Hennings. It looks like John Sanu trying to piece his way through. Pressey still cannot clear the 97. It's not over yet. Can he clear off the corner? Yes, he can. Give Nicholas Pressey the 5th position. John Sanu now going to try and get around the 74 of Brian Hennings. Drag race down the backstretch. Into 3. Little contact. Little how do you do? And Sanu off the corner. Not quite enough. He will get in front of Brian Hennings this time. Casey Ellis tries to make a move to the outside. And still none of these drivers have passed. Teresa Spiker is doing a wonderful job in the 8th position. Doing a great job looking out the windshield and not at the hornet's nest behind her. Brett McKee, remember, he just bought this racetrack about an hour ago, the 29. Trying to show, oh my goodness, what a drive into the corner. I don't know what happened to Teresa Spiker, but she lifted way early. Gave up 3 spots, potentially more. This battle for the lead, Dakota Floyd off of turn 4. He is going to lead the first lap, not led by Garrett Helmlinger tonight. That lap is number 51. Floyd out front now. Stewart working around Ritchie. He will clear the 55. Set his sights on the 88, Garrett Helmlinger. This is your 4th place starter. As we're closing in on halfway, not too long from now. Biggest mover of the race right now, Casey Ellis, up 7 spots from where he started. Second biggest mover of the race, Brian Hennings, up 4, as well as Justin Ritchie, up 4. Biggest faller in the race, John Sanu, who's working his way back up to the front. And Wade Palmer, who has left the session. Wade Palmer will finish 18th tonight. I believe the 66 also on pit road. He may be done for the day as well. He might finish 17th. David Collins, last driver running right now. Renee Haas, right in front of him. These two battling for a top 15 spot here, so not all is lost for either of these drivers, both of which have an 07 in their number. How nice is that? Stewart's going to try and get around Helmlinger. Can he do it? Not off a 2, he won't. Into turn number 3. They roll the center. Stewart gets the good exit. Got him by a quarter car length here. Deep drive into turn number 1. Slide the back end a little bit. Kyle Stewart's going to get the spot up to 2nd place for driver 41. Battle's not over. Helmlinger now under attack from Justin Ritchie as they both take a bit of a higher entry. And look at Nicholas Pressey. Came out of nowhere. Shot out of a cannon. Nicholas Pressey is about 0.2 faster than the leader and 0.4 faster than the drivers in front of him. Elmlinger and Ritchie have got to go. It's 4/10 a lap here as an eternity, only running about 22nd lap times. Any time now, you can see drivers on pit road for what would be the only required stop of the day. I don't think this race is playing out the way John Sanu wanted in terms of the caution. He pit 31 laps ago. I don't think he's going to get the mileage he's looking for. So we got 3 cars all compressed like an accordion into turn number 3. Benjamin Richards going to get well out of the way here. 56 in trouble. Heavy damage. For driver 5-6, Richard Spiker's also gone a lap down. The wheels have fallen off. The 70 is running so well. Things have changed. Collins, I think, got around Rene Haas for the 15th spot. Ressy's going to work around Spiker. Here to turn number 1. Successfully. He rolls the bottom. She rolls the top. Ritchie to the inside of the 88. Can he clear? Yes, he can. Move Helmlinger back to the 4th position after leading 50 laps. 51 laps, apologies, for driver 88. Don't want to sell him short. Dakota Floyd has led the last 12 as he works up to the back bumper of Haasman, Collins, Thad Miller not too far up ahead. He's going to get around Rene Haas without much of an issue. What about David Collins, who has the nose destroyed on that 707, but still making decent lap times? There goes your leader. Second place, Kyle Stewart, also going to try and get around 707. He will out of turn 4 as Collins up on the outside wall. Still trying to get out of the outside wall. Oh boy. Rewind into turn number 1. That is not what you want to see from Garrett Helmlinger or Nicholas Pressey. Pressey's surrounded by lap cars right now. Able to clear them without issue. This Collins-Haas battle is not over yet. Ellison McKee also fighting. This is for the top 10. This is your 10th position right here. These two drivers about 16 seconds behind the leader, which means the leader is not too far behind him. In fact, leader's in the frame. See it off the back bumper to Thad Miller. That blue car, yeah, that's the leader. That's Dakota Floyd. 24 is rolling. Top 3 are basically matching lap times, all running about 20.2s. Same with Helmlinger now running 20.3s. Nicholas Pressey fastest on the racetrack still at a 20.19. Great battle here. This is for 4th. Helmlinger trying to hang tough. Not be able to do so. Pressey conserving the tires here at Martinsville. Driving from the back up to the top 4. He's got 2.3 seconds ahead of him to go get. Justin Ritchie. Which happens first? Does he catch the 55 or does he pit? That's the question right now. Hiller and Radford. Great battle here. Little contact. Late entry of turn number 3. Oh, Radford's on the outside wall. Pretty heavy contact for the 97. Takes a little while to get it righted. But he is good to go. Field getting spread apart quickly. KCL is still in the back bumper of Brian Hennings. These two cars, the closest one for position on the racetrack, only about a quarter second separates them. John Sanu just up ahead, saving his stuff. Currently about 4/10 off of the leader's pace. Ellis is trying hard to become the first driver to gain 9 positions in this race from where they qualified. Of course, Nicholas Pressey qualified in the 5th spot, although he actually started in 18th. Right on board with Ellis as he tries to get around the 74. Really rolls that early entry. Someone's on pit road. Is that the 66? As well as the 07 also on pit road. I think he missed the pit box there. The 07 on pit road. Matt Miller, Brent McKee battling for the lucky dog spot right now with Pressey barreling down on them. Important if a caution were to come out, Thad Miller's going to get that spot from him. See how Pressey navigates these two. Now he's boxed into the 94, got that curb to the inside, don't want to touch that. Key's going to give way easily. Gap out front for Dakota Floyd as he chases down. The 35 is now 1.6 seconds. Justin Ritchie slowly closing in on the back of Kyle Stewart. You can see the gap. It's only about 3 car lengths as the bottom of 3 and 4 rubbers up significantly. There's the 07 on the bottom. A little bit slower car there. 35 is all the way on the outside wall. Not sure why. Maybe getting out of the way. Maybe he just moved out of the way. Hard to say. Sanu gonna get around Radford, who hits pit road. First of the lead lap drivers to pit. He will go at least 2 laps down, probably 3. Move Casey Ellis up to the first driver. 1 lap down. Ritchie still trying to catch up to Stewart. Helmlinger trying to roll some lap times here. He's currently 5th spot. 8/10 behind Nicholas Pressey, the pink car in front of him, and about 4.7 ahead of Greg Pillar in the 32. So no challenge out the back. It's all in front of him. For those curious, Radford did lose 2 laps pitting from the lead lap. He's at the start-finish line. Dakota Floyd entering turn 3, so 2.5 laps for the driver. Ritchie, cue the Jaws music. Slowly but surely, he's catching up to Kyle Stewart. Gap now under 4/10 of a second. Getting a really good drive off the corner there, you can see. Under 3/10 of a second now. But a great 1 and 2 that time. This 55 is really making work off the exit of these corners. It's almost to the back bumper. He might be to the back bumper. When they work around the 74, he's holding up Kyle Stewart for sure right now. Elminger, Hennings, apologies, going to get out of the way here. Let second and third battle it out. Let's update everybody on the strategy here. Stewart misses the bottom just a little bit. Everyone from Dakota Floyd, your leader, on back to Teresa Spiker in 12th, with the exception of 7th place John Sanu, have yet to hit pit road today. All of those drivers will have to pit again, including John Sanu. They will need to pit for fuel, not necessarily tires, as Ritchie now able to get around the 41. Benjamin Richards also needs to hit pit road. Matthew Radford, David Collins, Renee Hasp, and Edward Fiedler, who I don't believe is still on the racetrack. He's still on pit road. So those four, Radford, Collins, and Hasp, can make it to the end on fuel, though they are all multiple laps down. The only driver who might have a chance to pull an upset in terms of a strategy upset would be Matthew Radford, who would require this to go green, and then the caution comes out as I say that. Brent McKee, possibly? I think it was Brent McKee. So much for that. Over half the field trapped a lap down. This is going to be interesting. We'll sort this out in just a second. But first, what happened to the driver who just bought this racetrack? Oh, he got help big time. New tires in the 707 turned the 29 all the way around. The exit of turn number 2 from the 707's on board. Collins driving hard here. See, he just kind of, I don't know if he gets on the accelerator early or what happened there, but he rolled right into the back of the 29, spun him around. But Justin Ritchie going to win the race off pit road somehow. Go to Floyd. Says he didn't hit the pit box. That's interesting. Some weird timing issues. Says Ritchie spent 14.5 in the box. Floyd never hit the pit road. Or never hit the pit box, sorry. Kyle Stewart, 14 seconds in the box. Cressy and Helmlinger also with 4 tire stops. Henning's currently rolling pit road. What happened to the 24? Was he on pit road? That is my question. Let's go back and see on the replay here if he did in fact make a pit stop. Back one more time here. Yes, he definitely was in the pit box. So no issue there for Dakota Floyd fans. Now Justin Ritchie going to be your third leader of the day. 2 lead changes for 3 different leaders. Helmlinger, then Floyd, now Ritchie. 4 cautions so far in this race. Just under 50 laps remain. Currently the top 10 on the lead lap all the way back to Thad Miller. Benjamin Richards, the first driver, 1 lap down. Teresa Spiker, Matthew Radford, the other 2 1 lap down. Tough break for Radford, who got caught 2 down because of the early pit stop. Brent McKee is 2 laps down after the spin. David Collins is 4 down. Renee Hasp is 7 down after some sort of pit issue as well. Fiedler is 49 now, 50 down, and Palmer is 60 down, who has left the session. Your top 10 look like this as we're doing waiver rounds. See if we can get through it. Ritchie, Floyd, Stewart, Cressy, Helmlinger, Sanu, Hiller, Hennings, Casey Ellis, and Thad Miller. Pace lights back on as we were not ready to go. Gonna have one more caution lap here. More pace lap before we turn them loose. Another double file restart as we've seemed to have shaken some of the cautions out of our system, which is good to see. This is the highest up that 94's been all day. This is the farthest back the 88's been all day. The 86 was running up in the top 5 before the spin with the 41. What is in store for us over the final 45 laps here at Martinsville? What does Justin Ritchie have for this field? As they roll 3 and 4 to the restart zone. Oh, he timed it perfectly. Oh, he just got spun by the 24. Goodness gracious, that was close. Big issues in the back, though. Caution's out already. Somebody's turned around backwards. Teresa Spiker turned around backwards. What happened here? Long line of wave around cars. Bit of a slower start. Oh, the 29 missed the shift. Spiker reacted. The 97 did not. That's an unfortunate incident. Or Teresa Spiker. Back live here. That's going to put Benjamin Richards now, I believe, on the lead lap once everything cycles out here. And only one driver who's yet to hit pit road this entire race. That is Thad Miller. He caught a lucky break. He had taken the wave around last time. He can pit now this time to get fuel to make the finish of this race, which he will need to do. He cannot make it to the end from here. 13 hitting the pit road this time by. Yes, he will. 8th place driver will hit pit road. Justin Ritchie currently on the front stretch, so that Miller's going to have to hurry. In fact, he's already gone his lap down again. Maybe not. Maybe he's caught back up. I think everything's okay right now for Thad Miller. I just know that these short tracks are very difficult to pit if you're in the back half of the field. Pacing is always a problem, getting caught up in other people's incidents, and not being close enough to the leader or the car in front of you makes it so that you pace like 3/4 of a lap behind the leader. And then once you hit pit road, he just laps you because you can't possibly make your pit box and pit stall in time. That's what it looks like high above this Martinsville Speedway. Pace lights still on the pace car. They also call this place the world's fastest conveyor belt because that's what it looks like when everyone's spread out. Usually with more than the 18 cars we have on the track right now. Definitely looks like it is a conveyor belt. Out here a little too spread apart for that look, but great racing nonetheless here in the Vsrl ARCA Series inaugural season. Second to last race before the playoffs begin. Talladega next week. Going to determine who makes it into the playoffs and what a devious racetrack Mr. Garrett Helmlinger has chosen for that cutoff race. Ace lights out. Single file restart ahead. Ritchie all the way to the outside wall. Probably will restart on the outside wall, IndyCar style. Looks like he will. What does the 55 do? Slows them all the way down. That was a questionable restart. Yeah, that's going to destroy the whole field here. That ought to be a black flag. That was questionable at best. Caution is out on the speedway. Where was the caution? I don't see anybody. Oh, it is David Collins. 707 is around. So here they're just trying to all get figured out from that slow launch. Goes into one, gets a lot of help from Teresa Spiker. I'm not sure what happened to the 70 there. She just kind of missed the corner and caught the 707 right in the rear bumper. Teresa Spiker still in the pit stall. Under 40 laps to go now from Martinsville. I don't think anyone's hitting pit road this time. David Collins currently going to get a wave around. Put him now 3 laps behind the leader. No, sorry, he will stay 4 laps behind the leader. Battling currently with Teresa Spiker for the 14th spot. He may get that position from her if she stays on pit road. Brent McKee currently 2 laps down in the 12th position. Casey Ellis in 13th. Teresa Spiker is 14th. David Collins in 15th. Renee Hasp is 16th, 8 laps down. Last driver on the racetrack. "35 laps to go. Most of the field can make it on fill. In fact, everyone now in the field is good on fuel. Pit cart can probably get packed up for the day. Tires not much of a factor here tonight, especially since the track temperature has cooled down over 25 degrees, down to 74. A lot of grip now. This Martinsville Speedway, we might start to see these fast times. We've already seen quite a few laps in the 19.6s. Remember, our pole times up on screen there. Justin Ritchie set a 19. That's not true at all. We'll have to work that bug out of ATVO. I believe the fast laps in qualifying were 19.9s, was the point I was trying to get across. Missed the mark just a little bit. Pace lights are out once again. On board with Justin Ritchie. He looks back at Dakota Floyd. Big jump again for the 55. Nicholas Pressey up to the 4th spot now. Going to work on Kyle Stewart for 3rd. He will clear Kyle Stewart for the 3rd position. There's a new player in town, folks, and he's driving the 94. The battle back here. The lucky dog spot. Brent McKee, Casey Ellis. Trying to see who's going to be the first driver back on the lead lap should another caution occur. Elmwinger on Sanu. Not going to make that spot. Sanu's a tough pass. That driver loves running the bottom of the racetrack everywhere. He goes in a stock car. Bottom of the racetrack. In this place, you gotta run the bottom here to be fast, so that 86 will be a tough pass for sure. Ritchie out by half a second over Dakota Floyd. He has led 19, making 20 laps this time by. As the fastest driver on the racetrack that time by, 3rd place, Nicholas Pressey. But the difference was hundredths between the top 3. Need more than that if you're going to go get this lead with under 30 laps to go. Here from Martinsville. Kyle Stewart in the outside wall. Lose a spot to Sanu and possibly Helmlinger. Sanu onto the curb. Helmlinger to the outside wall. Muddled up too early, side by side into 3. Sanu on the bottom, Stewart on the top. Remember, these two had an issue earlier in the race, sent the 41 through the curbing. Somehow saved that car. 41 tries to roll the top. It's going to be a tough one. He's not going to be able to do it. Can he cross over the 86? No. He will slide in behind John Sanu. 5th spot for Kyle Stewart. Driver who spent so much of this race running in the 2nd and 3rd spot. Relegated to the last position in the top 5. But Sanu slips up out of the corner. Not enough momentum on the 41 to capitalize. Justin Ritchie still half a second out in front. 24, Dakota Floyd right behind him. Radford and Miller fighting for the 9th position. And Benjamin Richards soldiers on with that mangled 56. He is 11th, the last car on the lead lap. Brent McKee, first driver a lap down, but he's 2 down. So Benjamin Richards is safe as long as he keeps it on the racetrack. And remember, he needs points. Points up on your screen. Richards, first driver out of the playoffs as they run. Needs to chase down Kyle Stewart. Stewart currently in 4th as he got around Sanu. Richards in 11th, so that math is not mathing right now. Helmlinger's around. Garrett Helmlinger has spun. Oh, Teresa Spiker, goodness gracious. That was a moment. Oh boy. Let's go back and see what happened to the 88. Chasing down Sanu. Everything looks good here in the 3. Catches the curb. Yep, caught the curve, spun it around. Did a good job getting out of the way, but then right here. Looks clear. And Teresa Spiker had a very low exit there, and that was just about an issue for the 88. All right, 20-lap shootout at a short track. Never heard that before, right? Richie leads, Floyd in 2nd, Pressey up to 3rd, meaning he is going to be right behind your leader if we do double file restarts. Kyle Stewart back to 4th, John Sanu is 5th. Helmlinger falls down to 10th after the spin, although he might take an EOL because of the cause of the caution, not sure about that. Even so, he would only fall down to 11th because I believe Thad Miller is on pit road. Yes, he is. 13 wants those tires. Maybe he can make something happen here. He's only got 10 cars to pass. Matthew Radford feels the same way. He is on pit road as well. Currently in the 9th spot. Will fall down to 10th once Helmlinger passes him. This is such a difficult racetrack to pit on as well, because you pit on this curve. It almost feels a little bit tighter than the racetrack, maybe the same curve, but yeah, it's difficult to find the pit box, especially if you're not the first driver to hit the pit boxes, because your sign gets caught behind other cars. Very difficult to figure out where you're supposed to be. Not an issue for the 97 as he's down and away. Exit the pit road. No harm, no foul there. Currently the last car on the lead lap. Let's do a quick through the field rundown type situation. Justin Ritchie is your leader. Behind him, Dakota Floyd in 2nd, led 39 laps today. Nicholas Pressey has led 0, but he wants to really bad lead laps. He is in 3rd. Kyle Stewart in 4th, right where he started, though not as easy as his day was. John Sanu down to 5th. Greg Pillar where he started in 6th. Quiet day for the 32. Hennings up 7 to 7th. Benjamin Richards has gained a couple. He is now in the 8th spot. Thad Miller in 9th. Your top 10 spot belongs to Matthew Radford. Garrett Helmlinger, last driver on the lead lap after leading 51 laps. He is 11th. Brenton McKee, first driver, 1 down. He is 12th. Casey Ellis, 2 down and 13th. Then Collins in 14th. Spiker 15th. Renee Hasp 16th. Last driver on the lead lap is Ritchie. Going to bring him into the restart zone 2 by 2. What kind of launch do we get? A good one for the 55. He drives away easily on the field. The battle right now is Pressey getting 3rd back from Kyle Stewart. Sanu and Pillar have yet to sort out who's going to take control of the 5th spot. Looks like Sanu at the moment, he will take it back. Look at that mangled Hennings machine in the 74. He's still fighting in 7th. He's up to 6th now. You don't need a pretty race car here in Martinsville. You just need a fast one. 74's got one right now. 15 laps remaining. Look at Ritchie go. Thad Miller making passes. Well, they lost one to Radford. These two drivers hit the pit lane. Only two drivers to do so. Will that pay dividends? I don't know. Miller loses one, though, to Helmlinger. Got the EOL on that last caution. Oh, there goes the 707 again. Caution should come out. There it is. David Collins spun off of turn number 4 to re-rack him and let him loose with about 10 laps to go. In the race car for this one, kind of missed the curb a little bit and then just too much throttle on the exit. Spun it around, nose damage. 707 is going to pull it off the racetrack. He's now on pit road. Him and Rene Hasp still fighting for the 15th spot. Collins has it. Hasp is only 2 laps behind now. Behind Collins, that is. They are 6 and 8 laps down, respectively, from the leader. It's the small battles. Nicholas Pressey trying to cool the tires, perchance. Does anybody pit here for tires? That is the question. With 10 laps to go, I don't see why you would, but I've seen stranger things happen. Pressey's thinking about it. He will decline. I don't think anyone is going to hit the pit road. No, they will not. Sold out crowd here, Martinsville. Watch a number of drivers put on a great show here in the Vsrl ARCA Series inaugural season, as everyone's now running below the curb. Not sure what's going on there. It's a little bit loopy here at Martinsville. And sometimes lose track of where you are. Both ends are, I don't know if they're exactly the same, but they're pretty close to the same. But let's review the overtime rules just in case. We have 2 of them tonight. So, if we get within the last 5 or so laps, and a caution comes out, we will re-rack the field and let them go for a green flag lap, then a white flag lap, then a checkered flag lap. If they do not make it back to the flag if they make it back to the flag for the white flag, the next flag ends the race, whether it be a caution or a checker. If they do not make it back to the flag, then they will re-rack them and do it a second time. If on the second attempt there is a caution before the checkered flag, the field is frozen at the last lap completed, I believe. I don't think that we do scoring loops here in this league. And that would be your winner. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but just in case, you are now informed on how green-white checkers work here in the Vsrl ARCA Series. This restart going to happen with about 7 to go, as we are almost 3 wide. Not sure what's going on here. Justin Ritchie is all up in the pace car, right beside it here. Will this be the final restart? Into the zone. Slow launch again. Ritchie with a great jump. Gonna get out by 3 car lengths one more time here. As the battle is now for second, Pressey had a look at the inside of Floyd, couldn't get there. Kyle Stewart right on Pressey's back bumper. And look at Brian Hennings marching forward for the first time tonight into the top 5, but Sanu's trying to take it back. That's the battle right now. Sanu's going to get it. Everybody about a 1/10 and a half apart throughout the top 6. There you see him on your screen, side by side though. 7th, Bradford, Pillar. Who's going to get this position with closing on 5 laps to go? Helmlinger, a little contact with the 32. Helmlinger wants that top 10 back. He's going to dive it into the corner and grab the spot. Oh, there goes the 97. Big wall contact for him. Matthew Radford able to keep it right and never did spin around in that car. See if he can get back the 8th position. As nothing has changed up front. Ritchie up by a quarter second over Floyd. 4 more times around, 8 more corners. Justin Ritchie got to hold off Dakota Floyd and lock himself into the playoffs 3 more times around for driver 55. The gap is slowly but steadily increasing. Still 4.5 tenths. He's running an alternate line, a little bit of a higher entry, lower exit, and it's working. As he's going to capture the white flag as he rolls out of turn 3 and 4. No green-white checkers needed. Final lap. Caution's out. Justin, oh no. Oh my goodness, green-white checker after all. What on earth? Nicholas Pressey goes around. What just happened? Huge pileup. What is going on here? See what happened to Pressey first. Help from Kyle Stewart, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like help from the 94. From the 41, apologies. Let's replay that again. From the blimp this time. See this big gap between the cars. I think it's here on the next set of corners. 41 driving it hard, trying to make up the spot. And this is down in turn number 3. Yeah, Stewart just rolls the corner better than Pressey does. Around goes the 94. Sanu's caught up in it just a little bit. But what happened to Casey Ellis and company? Miller got spun by Thad Miller, and then Casey Ellis just drove into the side of the 13. I'm not sure what happened there. Back green, Pressey has left the race. Justin Ritchie still leading. Green-white checker, currently working lap 142 of 140, so we are in overtime. Yeah, Pressey is going to lose a number of positions, a number of laps here. He will probably fall down to about the 15th position. With the second green-white checker, he would be around the 17th position. He's got the win to fall back on, so not all is lost in terms of playoff. This definitely would have helped the seeding situation. Kyle Stewart on pit road trying to repair some damage from that incident. He is now 11th. Not a good points day for the driver 41. As we look at those points, remember, Benjamin Richards and Kyle Stewart are trying to fight it out for the last spot. Richards currently 9th, Stewart in 11th. Neither have led laps tonight. So going into Talladega, it could be as small as an 8-point margin between those two if it were to end this way. But what will it look like at the end of next week's race at Talladega before we head off to Michigan, Dover, Milwaukee, and Chicago to determine a champion here in the Vsrl ARCA Series inaugural season? This has been a crazy race, to say the least. I don't think anybody expected this. Do a little race recap for you. We've seen 9 cautions, 3 lead changes. Helmwinger, followed by Floyd, and most recently Justin Ritchie. Ritchie has led 52. Floyd led 39. Helmwinger led 51. This will hopefully be the final restart. Don't want to see any more torn up race cars. Field's going to roll through 3 and 4. Green flag in hand. Green flag is out. And we are green again. Huge drive into the corner for the 55. He will again clear easily. Sanu to the inside for the first time today for second. Can they get the white flag this time? Floyd's going to block Sanu. That's for second. There goes the 74. He's going to spin. Will the caution come out? It's not out yet. Final lap is shown. Justin Ritchie, if nothing goes wrong, will claim this win. Justin Ritchie into 3 and 4 for the final time tonight. Justin Ritchie is going to win in Martinsville. Well, I didn't see that coming. The entire field has now crossed the stripe. Justin Ritchie is officially the winner here at Martinsville. My, oh my. Congratulations. Driver 55 led the most laps and won the race from his 8th place starting position. A little overtime required here, 147 laps. A little more than the prescribed 140 tonight. Watch 55 burn it down a little while longer. And we will start our post show. All right, congratulations, Justin Ritchie. You've just finished watching the Vsrl ARCA Series here at Martinsville on V-Speed. Be back after a quick word from our sponsors. Don't miss a moment of the action here as we're going to come back with race results, a quick recap, and interviews with your top 3, Justin Ritchie, Dakota Floyd, and John Sanu. You don't want to miss a moment of it. Be back here in about a minute's time. Back here on V-Speed. Just wrapped up 140 laps here at Martinsville, 147 to be exact. Justin Ritchie from the 8th position led the most and won the race by half a second over teammate Dakota Floyd. And John Sanu round out your top 3. Greg Taylor with a great run tonight, kept out of trouble all night long. He will finish in the 4th spot, and the driver who just bought the track today, Brent McKee, going to finish in 5th position. Benjamin Richards going to help the point situation. He finishes 6th, just outside the top 5. Matthew Radford finishes in the 7th spot. Thad Miller going to finish in 8th. Garrett Helmlinger is 9th, and Brian Hennings will round out your top 10. AC Ellis finishes 11th, and Kyle Stewart will finish 2 laps down in 12th. That will not help the point situation. He was only plus 10. He will now be plus 4 heading into Talladega next week. Teresa Spiker 4 laps down in 13th. Nicholas Pressey disconnected early after a late race caution. He is 14th. Renee Hasp finishes 15th, 8 laps down with a heated battle with David Collins, who finishes on the same lap in the 16th position. Edward Fiedler finishes in 17th, and Wade Palmer, connection issues, finishes in the 18th spot tonight. That's a look at how the race went down. Now let's have a chat with your top 3, the gladiators who battled this one out. Start off first with Johnson, who driver of the 86. Get him up here in the booth. Hey, John, it's Morgan up here in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Morgan.
Well, goodness, you really fought through this one, didn't you? You
Yeah.
started up in third. Had the issue with Kyle Stewart there, and we'll talk about that in a second. Went all the way to the back, and then all the way back up to the front. First off, tell us what happened with Kyle in the 41 into turn three.
That's just if you run this, you get used to the guy's rhythm in front of you, and so that's how you run him. And Colin and I had talked, and he had to roll a little bit of. He didn't break any earlier, but he rolled a little bit of throttle, held it back because of the car in front of him. And I was so used to him already rolling up, ramping up on throttle at that spot, or the way he was rolling in. He checked up. I don't want to say checked up because it's all me, but it's just the timing got messed up, and I just touched him just enough. And on that spot coming in there, it's just the rear end is so loaded. I turned him, so I felt bad. I apologize to him because we run in the same room, and yeah, it was just a timing thing here at Martinsville. You've got to run so close and have and I just had a lot of confidence, and he was running so consistent on his entry, and it just changed just that little bit that. I ran in the back of him. I caught him a little bit, and like I said, on that part of the entry, the rear end so unloaded. All I had to do was touch him, and he spun. So I felt bad. But yeah, I had to do some work from the back. This is not a play. This is not a passing track by any means.
So you say it's not a passing track, and I think most people would agree with you. It's hard to pass here. Clearly, you were able to do it, though. It wasn't really a pit strategy thing, although you did try that to get off cycle. It didn't really work for you, but you were still able to pass cars. I think you restarted in about 14th when after you had your EOL, and you ended up working your way up to third. So, what just kind of put me in the mindset of a driver who knows he's faster than most of the cars in front of him, but has to be methodical to not get another EOL penalty and go to the back. So, what is that like as a driver? Because you know me, I clearly don't have that skill.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Yeah, it's patiently aggressive. Yeah, you gotta. My car rolled pretty good, and I was pretty good out, but you have to really wait because everybody pretty much runs the same line. So to do it without taking anybody else out, you just got to try to time how they're running it and hope they just run up a little bit on entry or somewhere in the center, or catch the wall. I probably three of those, and I don't remember exactly. There were at least a couple that caught a little bit of the outside wall coming out of the corner, which they just lost the momentum. But for the most part, it was just being patient because that's why it took a while, and just basically have them blow the entry or center just a little bit and be able to roll underneath it and get a pretty good drive center off. Once I got inside of him, I knew I could outbrake him coming in. I had a really good car with the brake bias had it. I could drive it in pretty good and hold my inside spot and then work center off. So it's just a lot of patience, because you don't want to wreck anybody doing it or get into them. So it's just trying to be patient and just be aggressive when the opportunity presents itself. But if not, just you got to sit around and wait and run laps till you get the opportunity, unless you want to move them. And I didn't really want to do that. So I tried not to do that. I don't like being that kind of driver, so I really tried not to ever do that. So yeah, just took patience, just a lot of work. So yeah, overall, uh, not a bad race considering the track. Um, this track is pretty conducive to a lot of yellows. So short of the end there, I think it was some pretty good runs. So everybody ran pretty clean. Everybody ran each other pretty respectfully for the most part. So yeah, I was impressed. Good long runs. Although I was happy to see the caution to get me back to the front, because they had gotten such a gap with me working around everybody. I think they were 8 seconds ahead of me once I got to like fifth or something like that. So yeah,
Right on. Well, you've pretty much interviewed yourself through that one, so appreciate that. You could give me an
sorry,
interview
you know
off
me,
here.
I'm a bit of a rambler.
Yeah, give me an interview off here. But who do you want to shout out? Who do you want to thank for the third place finish here in a race that didn't look like it was going to break that way?
Yeah, obviously Luke Transport, my sponsor, they've been with me since I started racing. They allow me to be able to have enough money to put the car in the trailer and beer in the cooler, as I always say. And then all the guys in the team in the room there that I run with, a lot of V Speed guys, they let me run with them, which is very cool. I appreciate that. Thanks to you for the broadcasts. Much appreciated for that. You're doing an excellent job with that. And Garrett for putting this all together. It's not easy to put together a season and run it and admin it and stuff. So kudos to all you guys that put in the work.
Right on. Well, thanks for your time, John. And congratulations on the third place finish. I'm sure I will see you probably at on Saturday night at the short tracks in SNR.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right. See you then.
Yep.
Anyway,
Thank you, Morgan. You
you
have a good
bet.
night.
That third place finisher tonight, John Sanu. And back to the channel where he came from. Now move up to second place on the grid. That was Dakota Floyd. Dakota, Morgan up in the booth. You got a copy.
What's up, Morgan?
Well, the second leader of the night was the second place finisher of the night. That was you, of course. Led 39 laps. What did you need to do differently to get around Richie on what seemed like your multitude of chances at the end with all the restarts?
I mean, have to pin the restart at the same exact time, stick to his outside, and pinch him down to the curb and run him off the corner. That was really the only chance I had. The leader gets such a huge advantage here on the restart, so it's just hard. So if I can't restart well and stick to his outside, there's nothing I can do.
Talk to me about the race in general. So you were one of the very few cars to stay up at the front the entire race. It was really you and Richie were the only two who kind of stayed up at the front. What did you two do differently than, say, John Sanu, than, say, Brian Hennings, some of the other top finishers, to keep that track position? Was there anything that you were doing special in your mind to rein yourself in?
I know at the very early start when we were getting those longer green flag runs, and we had that long green flag run for about 40 laps. My main goal was just to get behind Garrett, let the tires come up, and then once I could find a consistent line, don't let him drive too far away. So I had to find a balance of pushing the car too hard, or pushing the car hard enough to stay behind him, right behind him, and backing the corners up enough that I wasn't overcooking the tires. So I think I had a really good long run car, just sticking behind Garrett and just waiting for that opportunity, especially in the lap traffic, where I could finally use one of them as a pick, get to his inside, and then just stick the pass. And then after that, it was just hitting my mark at lap after lap after lap.
So you talk about moving around lines here, and Martinsville, as we all know, about the narrowest groove of any racetrack in North America. It doesn't really get much narrower than this. You could argue Darlington, but even you can run too wide in turns 3 and 4 at Darlington. Here, to be fast, you have to stay in a very narrow width of racetrack. When you're talking about searching for lines, how much left and right, forward and back are you really working with for the viewers at home to get them an idea of how precise you have to be at this racetrack?
Yeah, you don't get much wiggle room. I'd say you probably get about a half a car left and right in the corner if you really want to diamond it out to drive off the corner and kind of just help with your exit speed once the right front and once the tires in general on the right side just start coming off of it. You don't have much, because once you wash up a little bit too far, then you're in the marbles, you lose grip out there. If you're too far inside, then the car doesn't exit well. You don't have much into the corner. It's if you drive too much harder, like I said, you wash out. If you drive in too slow, you lose so much time to the guy behind you that's hitting his marks in the braking zone. So yeah, you don't get much margin here at Martinsville.
Definitely a very difficult racetrack to get a hold of, and you're quite a short track driver, pretty short track specialist, I would say. You've always run well here in these Vsrl series and other series as well on the short tracks. And anyone you want to thank or shout out for the second place finish tonight, Dakota?
Well, shout out to the team first and foremost, as always. I think everyone had a pretty stellar night for the most part. A couple unfortunate incidents there at the end, but 1, 2, 3 finish, and Thad and Brent and those guys weren't too far behind, and so I think everyone had a pretty good race for as most of it goes. And shout out to the league, and as always, glad Garrett decided to bring this back, and the racing has been awesome. And I think for Martinsville, that was pretty good. I mean, you're going to have cautions at Martinsville. It's pretty tough to get long green flag runs here. So the fact that we put 40 laps together there at one point, I think that's pretty good. Thank you guys up at V Speed. You guys do a phenomenal job. You, Bradley, everyone. Can't thank you guys enough to give us an awesome show to go back and watch. And thank you to everyone that watches and supports me week in and week out. You guys give me something to race for every week.
Well, thanks for the time, Dakota. That is your second place finisher tonight, Dakota Floyd, here at Martinsville.
Thank you, Morgan. Have a wonderful night.
As well. All right, now to the top step of the podium, a driver who I'm not sure if he expected to be up here. Justin Ritchie, Morgan up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Morgan. What's going on?
Well, does that shoulder still hurt? Because it didn't look like it tonight.
Yeah, it still hurt a little bit, but that win makes it feel a little bit better, let me tell you.
Yeah, I bet you put on a show here tonight. Now, you didn't seem to have great speed. I mean, obviously qualifying, you started 8th, so middle of the field here. But then even early in the race, you worked up to the top 4, top 5, and you were kind of catching Kyle a little bit when you were running 4th, but you didn't have much more than that, it seemed, at the start of the race. What clicked for the 55 that made you so much faster than everyone else tonight?
Yeah, well, I had a really bad qualifying effort, and it usually just takes me quite a few laps to get a feel for the track and everything. But once I realized how far you can throw this car into the corners and just hammer on the throttle and it still stays gripped up, you can really manhandle it. And I guess that's probably the big revelation I had mid-race.
Uga, drive harder. That's funny.
Yeah, really.
That's funny. Like Dakota's talking about, like, oh, you got to move, the right front tire a little bit here, a little bit there. Justin just hammer on the brake, hammer on the throttle. Let's get her done. But I mean, obviously that 55 looked really good here tonight. And one thing I noticed you doing, and I want you to speak to this a little bit, is it looked like you were kind of diamonding the corner a little bit, kind of off the corner. How does a driver set that up to be able to diamond a corner properly and make up the straightaway speed?
Yeah, for sure. So what I was doing is I was kind of entering about half a lane to 3/4 of a lane off the bottom. And doing that, by the time I got to the apex of the corner, the car wanted to turn down the track towards that inside. And once you're there, you're not wasting any momentum still trying to get the car to rotate. So you get all the hurt out early, get all that rotation done, and then you can just hammer down. And that is super helpful, at least for these cars here.
It might not work as well in the B car, but definitely that 55 in the ARCA car here looked pretty stout. Looked like it could have been Ricky Bobby driving that machine here tonight. Had a lot of speed. I can't say enough about just how quickly you worked through the field. But let's talk about the end, and I want to talk about specifically the second to last, or the last caution, I guess. So you had crossed the finish line.
I did. Yeah.
I thought we got the white flag. I said we got the white flag, and all of a sudden there's 4 more laps up on the board. How hard is it as a driver to go from I just won this race, much like Parker Kligerman a couple weeks ago at Charlotte, to I need to reset and get back into because I need to nail this restart? How hard is that as a driver?
Oh, I mean, it was pretty difficult because, I mean, obviously Dakota is a super talented driver behind me. So that just gave him another shot and luckily he raced me cleanly, so shout out to him. But that just gave him another shot to get to my outside on the restart. But I was talking to the guys, and I was like, hey, I took the white. Like, what's going on? And John was like, yeah, Parker Kligerman. I said, don't put that on me, man. But, yeah, we honestly, I think, again, got a little lucky with the restarts. Being the control car got you about, I would say, about a 3/10 gap on the car on your outside if you got a good jump. And I was able to vary my starts enough to where I didn't have Dakota breathing down my neck going into one. And it had worked for the previous few restarts, so I just went with the same game plan that I had already made earlier in the race, and it worked out.
Yeah, looked pretty good for driver 55 here tonight. Justin, who do you want to thank or shout out for the
shout
win
out
here in Martinsville?
To all my boys, Orange Speed 16-1. Shout out to V-Speed for another amazing broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Just shout out to all the people that showed up. Vsrl is awesome, and I love seeing fields like this, and hopefully we get even bigger fields in the next Martinsville. Well, maybe not Martinsville.
Maybe not Martinsville.
Yeah, maybe not, but other tracks, yeah. It's awesome. Great racing. Just appreciate all the clean racing around. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Right on. Well, thank you for your time, Justin. Congratulations on the win. And how's it feel to be locked into the playoffs? You don't have to worry about Talladega next week.
It feels pretty good. Yeah, Talladega is such a crapshoot sometimes that I'm glad I don't have to worry about it. I can't wait to push Dakota to a win next week.
That's the spirit. All right. Congratulations, Justin. We'll catch you next week at Talladega.
Appreciate it.
All right. That is your winner tonight, Justin Ritchie. Who I didn't even notice the number of laps led matched the car number. That's got to mean something. 55 laps led here tonight for driver 55. That is going to do it for our coverage of the Vsrl ARCA Series here tonight. Have a look at the schedule. Next week, Talladega Superspeedway for 66 laps around that 2 2/3 mile behemoth of a racetrack. Should be a fun one. Similar to Daytona, which was an absolute classic earlier this season. If you haven't already, go back and watch that Daytona broadcast. Jeremy Burns was up here with me to give the call. But for everyone here at V-Speed, Bradley, Eddie, Adam, Logan, everyone else involved to make this thing go round, I've been Morgan Cook, your host and producer tonight. Also think of a big shout out to Garrett Helmlinger and all the Vsrl admins to make this thing go around. But for everyone who makes this possible, for everyone who allows us to bring this great racing action to you that you can't get anywhere else, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification icon so you don't miss a moment of the racing action. You found us, you might as well stick around a while longer. Like I said, I've been Morgan Cook. This has been V-Speed. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time tomorrow night for QSR Xfinity Series.